Good afternoon. How are y'all doing? Okay, good. All right, well, we're going to talk about the environment and creation, so let's start off with some scripture. We have some quotes here from the Bible to get us going. Genesis 1:31. God saw everything that God had made, and indeed it was very good. The earth is the Lord's and all that is in it, the world and those who live in it. Psalm 24:1. Ever since the creation of the world, God's eternal power and divine nature, invisible though they are, have been understood and seen through the things that God has made. Romans 1:20. Now, there's one that I didn't put up here, but it's one of my favorites, so I'll just read it to you from Job, chapter 12, verses 7 to 10. Ask the animals, and they will teach you, or the birds of the air, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish of the sea inform you. Which of these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every creature and the breath of all humankind. We have been talking over the last day and a half a lot about beloved community, about creating community. A lot of times when we think about environmental problems or hear about environmental issues, there's this idea maybe that it's a big fuss about whales or a cave salamander somewhere or some frogs that we've never seen before. I live in Central Texas, and it's not always clear to me how whales are a part of my community. But when I go to Scripture, it becomes clear that whales are a part of the beloved community of God. Just as I am beloved of God, whales and frogs are beloved of God. So Scripture helps me expand my notion of what community is. It helps me to widen in ever-expanding circles my area of concern. All right, now, I'm pretty proud of myself that I found the same picture that Tim Tutt had yesterday. Just want y'all to know. And here's my disclaimer. I am not Methodist, but I am a fan of John Wesley. He said, "I believe in my heart that faith in Jesus Christ can and will lead us beyond an exclusive concern for the well-being of other human beings to the broader concern for the well-being of the birds in our backyards, the fish in our rivers, and every living creature on the face of the earth." So now that we've brought John Wesley into the room, here's a quote from Archbishop Desmond Tutu. "The first law of our being is that we are set in a delicate network of interdependence with our fellow human beings and with the rest of God's creation." The basic message here is that we are all in this together. Ultimately, we are one planet, one people, one beloved community of God. And what happens in one part of the web of life affects every other part. So it is that the burning of fossil fuels in the US and in Europe contributes to global warming all around the world, leading not just to trouble for the frogs of the world, but also to serious trouble for people. An overwhelming majority of scientists agree that global warming is caused by human activity and is already underway. They tell us that increasing global temperatures will bring more extreme storms and droughts, that rising sea levels will swallow coastlines around the world, that weather and rainfall patterns for entire regions will change. So that last bit was a little bit depressing, I'm sorry. Here's a picture of Caprock Canyon that when my family and I went camping there a few years ago over spring break, we took that picture. I think it's really pretty. It's important for us to get out and celebrate the wonders and beauties and gifts of creation. And take a deep breath every now and then. So here's the deal. There's a lot of work to do. I like to think of it this way. There are so many opportunities to do good. So many ways that we can partner with God in doing God's work here on earth. If we just focus on the bad news, then it's pretty easy to just kind of sink into despair. So let's focus on the good news. The good news here is that the religious community, our community, has a unique perspective in this conversation about care of creation. Because we care for people and for the planet. We approach these issues holistically, saying that we need to find ways to balance the needs of people with the needs of the environment, because we understand that the two are connected. So this makes our actions and our voices very important and very necessary. For the rest of my time with you, I want to talk about what we can do together. So I'm the coordinator of Texas Interfaith Power and Light. We work with local interfaith networks, congregations, and people of faith around the state to get people the information, tools, and resources that you need to take action in your own communities. I've been with Texas Impact part-time since May of 2008, and I just went full-time as of January 1st, so I'm super excited about that. I'm a part-time student at Austin Presbyterian Theological Seminary, and so blessed and fortunate to be able to have Cindy Rigby for a professor. Just want to rub that in a little bit. I'm married and I have 2 kids, 2 boys, ages 8 and 10. Before I worked at Texas Impact, I was a religious education director for about 5 years. So generally here, we like to break up. I mean, everything, we've already kind of said, everything is interrelated when you start to talk about the environment. But we've, for the sake of being able to think about things, broken it into 6 areas of concern. The first one being water. And let's start thinking, in our congregations. So how you use water in your congregations and things that you can do. So like putting low flow faucets on, what kind of plants you have on your grounds, xeriscaping, things like that. Start thinking about congregations and using energy and climate impacts. There's a lot here. There's a lot about energy efficiency that we're going to talk more about here in a few minutes. Advocacy opportunities that we're also going to talk about here in a few minutes. Toxics is an increasing concern, and this in your congregation is going to be, what cleaning products are used, maybe what pesticides are used on your grounds. Are you able to provide hazardous waste collection? For a lot of people don't know what to do with batteries, so that might be a service that your congregation, your church can provide. The next slide, we have numbers 4, 5, and 6. Waste management. These are like the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. Wildlife. This is kind of thinking about your connection to the greater outdoors. Some congregations have put in butterfly gardens, taking kids outside, experience with nature. Food, as we've talked about, is a big issue, and you have some resources in your binder. And food, you can think about food inside your church and food outside your church. So consider serving organic, locally grown foods at church events. Help start a community garden if you have extra space on your church grounds. So these are just kind of some things to get us thinking. And as we think about things that we can do in our congregation, we have this kind of approach for how to do this work. And we call it SWIM, okay? So Stewardship, Worship, Instruction, Mission. One of the things that I learned when I was serving as a religious educator is from Maria Harris, who wrote that the congregation is the curriculum. So it's not just what's in your lesson plan, it's everything that you do is what you're teaching, is what you're preaching. So what we do matters as much as, if not more, than what we say. So if we say that we care about creation, but we're not recycling, then there's a disconnect. So SWIM is kind of a way to approach this work holistically and in all the areas of your church. So stewardship. This area is kind of considering congregational use of energy, of water, what you do with your waste. Purchasing is a big one. This is where you can bring in, what kind of cleaning supplies and toxics and these kinds of things. food choices, how church lands are being used with landscaping, plant choices, gardens. Worship includes everything from the words that the preacher says in the pulpit to the supplies that are used during worship. We're talking here about water for baptism, flowers, energy use in your service. Are your orders of service printed on recycled paper? Are they collected after the service to be recycled? And then we put themes up here, and this kind of includes incorporating creation care themes into regular holidays and kinds of seasons of the church. So, for example, could the season of Lent include a thematic connection between decreasing consumption and being better stewards of creation? Just some more ideas to help get us thinking. Instruction. Here we have some other areas. So I know you're educating adults in your congregations. You're also educating children and youth in your congregations. As a former religious educator, I was always trying to figure out ways that adults and children and youth could all learn together. So I will still encourage you to try to figure that out. That's another way of building more beloved community in your own congregation across generational lines. And then community-wide learning. And this is a really important role for churches and congregations in the larger community. For example, in Fort Worth, there is a lot of confusion and concern right now over gas drilling of the Barnett Shale. I want to suggest to you that your church can be a valuable place and provide a valuable service to the larger community by hosting a civil, respectful discussion or panel presentation and inviting and opening your doors to the larger community. So think about some ways that can happen. And that leads us into mission. Consider the church's role and action in the world. So what is the role and responsibility of the church and people of faith as witnesses and messengers of God in the world? In your local community, think about what are the needs of your community? What are the needs of your church's neighborhood, your city, your metropolitan area, your state? And that's, getting back to those ever-widening circles of concern. And a good question to ask at all times is, where is God active and moving in the world? How can your church partner with God in doing God's work in the world? This is not our work, so we don't have to get really burned out over it. We're partnering up with God in this work. So one of the things that a lot of congregations, that we hear from a lot of congregations, are interested in doing and learning how to do is how to become more energy efficient. And it's a great thing to do. So we have this definition up here of negawatt, a term to describe a megawatt of energy that doesn't get generated because of reduced demand through energy efficiency. And this is the cleanest and cheapest form of energy. So I know that a lot of times it's easy to get really excited about solar panels and going to renewable energy and things like that. And it's great. I would love it if we could all have solar panels on the roofs of our churches. But you want to make sure that you've done your efficiency work first. Dollar for dollar, you're going to get more bang for your buck by improving energy efficiency. Energy efficiency helps us save money, care for the creation, protect human health, and reduce demand on the grid. And here are some statistics from the EPA. If America's 370,000 houses of worship cut energy use by just 10%, nearly $315 million would be saved for congregation missions and other priorities. More than 1.8 billion kilowatts of electricity would be available without additional cost and additional pollution, and more than 1.3 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions would be prevented. That's like taking 240,000 cars off the road. They also tell us that when congregations do energy efficiency work, it's not just 10% savings that they're getting, it's more like 30%. So you can multiply all those figures by 3. Now we are lucky today I got to throw John Wesley back in there. We are lucky today to have a UMW resource on hand. If you look in your binders, under tab 5, there's a green sheet of paper right after the Faith and Democracy PowerPoint. It's called Be a Green UMW Unit, Take the Pledge. And Stacy Hawkins of Houston. Where is Stacy? Stacy, would you stand up? Okay. Yay, Stacy. Stacy's in the Texas Conference, and she is, the way I understand it, a member of the UMW Green Team program. And this is a program that hopefully you'll be hearing a lot more about in the future, but is encouraging all UMW units to go green. So this is information about how to take the pledge, and you can track Stacy down later. She has more information and resources for you. Now there are a couple more programs that I want to make sure you guys know about. For congregations in the North Texas area who are serviced by Oncor, and I think my understanding is this is Waco and kind of north to north central Texas. If you're in the Oncor service area, there is a matching grant program available to congregations for energy efficiency and renewable energy projects. They are able to give grants of up to $100,000 to your congregation for up to 50% of your project costs. And if you're in the Oncor service area and you're interested, please get in touch with us and we can help connect you to that information. The next slide is about an Energy Star pilot program, and this one is available to all. It's open at least to all congregations in Texas, not just for folks in a certain region. It's a pilot program that the Energy Star is doing. They're looking for 50 congregations in various places around the United States. And they are especially interested in getting some congregations in Texas. And this is a pilot program. They will provide, if you are selected, a free energy audit to your congregation, and they will help connect you to other resources. And I think part of what they want to do is kind of take some measurements of your energy use in your congregation right now, make sure that you get some help becoming more energy efficient, and then, take another measurement so that then they can use that to expand that program for more congregations around the country. So again, this is, if you're interested in applying for this program, we can help you get more information and with the application process. So we're getting to the wrapping up section here for me. Going home. Let's keep that swimming thing, keep on swimming, keep on swimming. We want to encourage you to explore ways to integrate creation care consciousness into the life of your whole congregation. So stewardship, worship, instruction, mission. Consider ways that creation care consciousness can help to build beloved community in your church, in your neighborhood, in your city. And the other thing here is what we want to challenge you to do is over the next year, between now and next UMW, do one thing in each of these areas. For stewardship, take one action at your church. Host an energy efficiency workday, or start a community garden. Install low-flow faucets in your church bathrooms and in the kitchen. Start using fair trade coffee for coffee hour. There are so many different things that you could do. And all we ask is that you do at least one. Have one worship service that's dedicated to a creation care theme. Host one, community instruction event, or one adult Sunday school class, and then advocate. And I know that's what y'all are doing here tomorrow, so maybe the UMW doesn't count. What we want you to do is go home and do another one and bring some people from your church along with you. Meet with your representatives in your home district. And then tell us how it went. We want to know. So that's kind of my challenge to you is between now and next UMW legislative event, do some swimming. Let us know how it goes. The other thing is that you are not alone. You have this amazing community of UMW women, and then you also have us. So we have information, we have resources. We are hosting monthly conference calls that you are all invited to come in on. We can also come to your church and meet with a small group, with a Sunday school class. We can teach a Sunday school class. You can invite us to come preach. So these are all possibilities. And if you have a project in mind that you want to do at your church and you just want somebody to help you think about how to make that happen, we can be a resource for that too. And my name's Amanda, and that's me. And you can find me later if you have questions. Thank you so much.